He's actually doing Los right now, so we'll see if he's going to be done around 10:30, 10:40. Maybe we'll bring him on.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
Chris Gonzalez, happy birthday, Joe. Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
happy
it, man.
birthday, by the way. Did you like the gift that I sent you, or the TikTok?
Oh, yeah.
It is my birthday.
Oh, yeah, it is my birthday. From Coming to America?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gio, I think Puff Daddy's hiding an essay.
That would be Puppy Taco.
Yeah, Puppy Taco. Sean Quintero, what's up, fellas? He says, happy birthday. Thanks, man. Do we get three wins in a row? Maybe against the Knicks. Then you can officially call it, what, a win streak?
Yes. It's been a while. I can barely hear. I can hear a little bit, but
Let's see.
nah, don't worry about it, man. It's good. What's up, San Antonio? What's up, South Texas? This is the Alamo City Sportscast coming at you from the west side of San Antonio. My name is Mike Jimenez. That right there is the birthday boy, Joe Garcia. What's going on, my man?
Oh, man, nothing, dude. You know what's weird? It is my birthday, but I woke up this morning and half the fucking street in the block is gone, bro.
Okay, we got to talk about that.
What the hell happened?
We got to talk about that. So we do this show from your house.
Yeah.
Right? And you called me about 30 minutes before I was on my way over here. And you're like, dude, it's a disaster zone in the front. And I was like, what? They're doing a little bit of construction. No big deal. I had to be stopped for like 5 minutes while these trucks were going back and forth,
Yeah.
these tractors and whatnot. And I was thinking about it. I would pay $100 just to be on that tractor for 10 minutes. Okay.
God.
They should make this an event like at Carnival or at the rodeo, where you get one of those big ass tractors, you know, the big yellow ones.
Yeah.
And you go, you try to scoop stuff up, right? You know, boulders, or they were
Dirt.
Boulders, dirt. They were bringing over heavy equipment and like carrying it from one part of the street to the other part of the street, and then they dropped it off. And I thought to myself, that's got to be fun. Okay, I don't know what it pays. Okay, I don't know what it pays. I'm not saying that's going to be a second career, but it's got to be fun. It reminded me of the movie Office Space. Remember at the end?
Yeah, I remember
he
that.
leaves his corporate job to go, work construction, because he was like, hey, it pays the bills. I get to be outside. I get to have a beer afterwards. And it's more fulfilling than being inside the office, typing memos and stuff. But man, that guy on the tractor, I don't know if it's even called a tractor, whatever that rig is.
Yeah.
I want to be him for 30 minutes.
I used to drive those things when I used to work at Kelly Air Force Base, because we had to move heavy equipment from point A to point B, because we had to put it inside this big building that we used to call the vault.
Yeah.
And they had a bunch of like classified stuff in there, equipment and whatnot. I mean, it wasn't like they're hiding UFOs or nothing. It's just stuff that we needed to move in there. But man, we used to do we used to drive the huge forklifts, tractors like that, all sorts of stuff, man.
It just looks like a blast. Like I would be on that thing going whee down the street,
Yeah, it's all fun and games until somebody pulls their fucking thumb off or something, We saw that shit happen too one time. They tell you, do not wear jewelry while you're around this equipment for good reason. People don't listen. And I got to tell you, man, one time this one guy, he jumped on the back of one of the trucks.
Yeah.
And there's these little barbs, little pieces of metal shards that come out because we're pulling sides of the cars in and out. He had his ring on. He missed a step. The truck took off and took out his fucking pinky, bro. Is there on the ground screaming, and somebody just put the pinky in a bag with ice.
That is brutal. It reminds me of like those forklifts that you see at HEB or that you see at Costco.
Yeah.
I could never do it, man. I could never do that. Like they are skilled in that, because one move in the wrong direction, a foot in either direction, things are crashing. Tens of thousands of dollars of merchandise is falling to the ground. That's what would happen to me. I would miss something.
Yeah.
I would do something wrong. But those guys look like they're having a blast, man. But your street right now is a war zone.
I don't know what happened, dude. Like I said, yesterday it wasn't like that at all.
They got to spend that money, man.
And then when I took the wife after I get out of work, we went to Dunkin' Donuts because she wanted coffee.
Yeah.
And I saw a sign that said construction. I was like,
whatever.
okay. There was no trucks or nothing. It was just a sign in the street with some orange cones on side of it. All right. Wake up this morning. I'm like, what the fuck? Half the street's gone. You got all these guys going up and down. They're gonna tear up the whole street. I guess
there's about 20 guys
build
there.
it. I
mean, it's gonna be nice, right? I mean, if they fix the sidewalks and all that, it'll be all right.
My jackass neighbor went ahead and decided to park. He parked his car next door, which the people don't live there, but I know them, right?
Yeah.
And he didn't even leave. Like, okay, I'm gonna park on the side. Let somebody else park next to me. No, this son of a bitch right in the fucking middle for a fucking Kia.
Middle of the driveway.
Fuck out of here with that. I felt like keying that son of a bitch.
All right, we are now up to 763 subscribers here on YouTube, so that's very cool. Inching closer to 1,000. Every day that goes by, we add 2, 3, 4, 5. We're getting that pace going right now. Do have a big show, as we always do. Spurs have won back-to-back games. Took out the Jazz last night.
Don't call it a streak.
It's not a streak yet. They've done this a few times the past couple of months where they've won back-to-back games. But again, a winning streak is 3 in a row, and the last time that happened was back in December of 2022. We'll get into that. Draymond Green ejected again. I mean, just one day after he, rope-tied Patty Mills, man. He just completely went after Patty Mills' neck a couple of days ago. He got ejected last night after just 4 minutes of play. If you want to meet a Spur, you got to head out to Petrenko Road because Malachi Branham is going to be hanging out at a Taco Bell.
Nah, I might.
You know how I like Dua Lipa, right?
Yeah.
She sings that, I got new rules, I got them. Okay, well, the NFL's got new rules, they got them. They had a new rule when it came to tackling. Now there's a new rule when it comes to kickoffs, and it's pissing me off.
It's a shit show, bro.
Again, Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament goes on today.
Oh, look at
Kicks
man.
off.
We got a $5 super chat.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. I see that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a minute. And then also there's changes to the baddie brackets because we're supposed to be doing the Sweet 16, but because of a mathematical problem that I have here, I got to figure out how we're going to advance from here. Like, what do we do? Because we need to get this back up and running. I'm back from Vegas. The Sweet 16 is actually happening in college basketball. We need to do this a little bit more. We'll talk about the baddie brackets and maybe get into P. Diddy because there are old interviews resurfacing of certain celebrities who are saying, you know what? We didn't want to hang out with Diddy.
Oh,
we didn't like, but these are old interviews. These are old interviews with people like Usher, with people like Kanye West, who came out and said, there's a reason why we don't hang with this guy because all the stuff that was going on, we didn't like seeing, so we just bailed. So we'll give a P. Diddy update at some point in this show.
Cat Williams tried to tell everybody.
Oh, yeah, Cat Williams.
He said the truth will come out.
Cat Williams, that interview is about 50% lies and 50% truth. Embellishment all the way.
Hey, he tried telling you.
Okay, he did run a 4.9. Okay, I don't care what that video showed. He ran that like 6.5 seconds.
No, come on, Mike.
Still. But it reminds me of Hannibal Buress, the comedian.
Yeah.
Who about 5-6 years ago had a comedy show in Philadelphia. And during that comedy show, he made people feel uncomfortable because he was lashing out at Bill Cosby. And he came out and said Bill Cosby is a rapist. And he said that is something that is well known in Hollywood circles, but no one says it. And again, what is he's saying this? He's saying this in Philadelphia, which is Bill Cosby's hometown. Famously, he went to Temple University. And it's weird because a lot of things are known in sports. A lot of things are known in Hollywood, in politics, but no one says anything because of fear. They're afraid of being kicked out of the club. They're afraid of losing their job, losing their career, being blackballed, and things go on. Harvey Weinstein, You're telling me no one knew what that was going on? You're telling me no one knew, right? Everybody knew. All the stuff going on at Nickelodeon. We have that docu-series that's going on right now about all the craziness going on behind the scenes of the Nickelodeon shows growing up, and how there was allegations of sexual assault involving Drake Bell being victimized by one of the producers.
Yeah.
And then you have another showrunner, a creator of all these shows, who is doing all these sexual jokes and innuendos inside of the shows and was an outright creep. People know about this, but they're not saying it. And that's why whenever I talk about like the Spurs and Joshua Primo, they knew about it. They just didn't say anything about it until it came out, right?
Until they were forced to.
Exactly. Jerry Jones's paternity going on in Dallas, whether he's the daddy of this. But lots going on, man. Lots going on today.
Yeah.
We're going to get into super chats earlier because he was wanting to talk about gambling with the Jonte Porter and Shohei Ohtani. We'll get into that at some point.
It's going to become a problem.
It is a problem. It is a problem. And I think the problem that you have with gambling right now is that we used to bet on the game.
Yeah.
It was
Not
about
anymore.
the spread. When I was in Vegas last week, first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament, the amount of cheers that people had at the 5-point mark, 10, 15, 20, 25, because it used to be, well, I'm going to go ahead and bet the game. You know, the spread's 5. I'm going to watch a 2.5-hour game, and I'm going to see if my team wins by 6 or more, right? But now it's gone beyond, well, first half lines. It's gone beyond what's going to be at the end of the first quarter. It's now who's going to score the first bucket. It's now who's going to be the first team to 5 points, the first team to 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And now everyone's cheering whenever you get to 5-3. People are cheering again at 10-7 scores, 15-13. And the gambling has gotten to be a little bit out of hand because there's so much to gamble on. These casinos and sports books realize that people have an appetite not only for gambling of the game, but the inner workings of that game. Yeah. You can gamble on whether Wemby's going to go off for X number of points, going to get a triple-double. You can go off and bet on whether or not he's going to have 3 or more blocks or whatever the case may be. You could probably bet on whether Draymond's going to get ejected.
You can bet on a game to see if the outcome from the opposing team, are they going to win by even or odd numbers?
Exactly.
It's weird.
And because of that, it's easier to cheat if you are going to cheat. Because it used to be throwing games, right? You know, the Black Sox scandal. Oh, yeah. You had some scandals going on. Tim Donahue and all
to get the over-under, you know.
Get the over-under, stuff like that. But now if you know that all you need to do is do one play the first 3 minutes of the game, that's where it's dangerous. Because if the bet is the first to 5 and your team is up 4-3 and the other team's supposed to get it, oops, I dribbled it off my ankle and it went out of bounds. No one's going to fault you for that. No one's going to suspect any cheating when it comes to that.
Or I missed my guy, it went out of bounds.
Yeah, if you're
turnover.
If you're a wide receiver, over under of 75 yards and you're at 73 and someone bet the under and I dropped the pass.
Yeah.
Right? Because it happens.
Or the infamous first quarter score 3-0.
3-0. Well, that's when you want to get squares.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is this, man, is that, you know, Drew Show with the super chat saying, you know, JB getting threatened, Shohei Ohtani being investigated. Legalized gambling is ruining sports. You can't tell me that bad reffing isn't gambling related. And it's, you know, he's saying legalized gambling in all caps. And the legalized gambling aspect of it all is not going to go away. It's actually only going to get worse. State of Texas will have legalized gambling in the next 10 years. It's going to happen because there used to be an issue that only the Democrats were for. And now you have Republicans and Democrats there in Austin who want to have this. They want to have this casino money. They want to have this sports betting money. And sports betting is going to become legal first in Texas before casinos.
Yeah.
We already see this right now. You go to Rounders Card Club. You go to Alamo Card Club. You go to the place over at the Rue Pub. There are poker places all over town. And they say, well, it's a poker club. We don't take a rake and all that stuff. But really, it's gambling, right? Right now, sports betting in Texas has like a 70 to 75% approval of those in the state legislature. That's enough to get it on the ballot.
Yeah.
It's just that you have the lieutenant governor and the governor who don't want it to be put on the ballot, so they kill it. They don't have the will of the people in mind. Okay, they're not for that. But after that, you go to casinos. And whenever I go to casinos out of state, I go to Louisiana, I go to Oklahoma, go to WinStar, you go to Coshada, or you go to any place out there in Louisiana. 3/4 of the license plate that you see out there are from Texas. So the betting better happen over here. But the question becomes, is this now affecting what we see on the football field, what we see on the basketball court, what we see on the baseball diamond, what we see when it comes to the boxing ring? It most definitely is in some capacity. But the question is, why? Why are these players doing this? They have a lot of money to begin with. Why are celebrities like Bruno Mars losing $15 to $17 million when they have so much money already? There's something about these players that I think that are the minimum wage players, right? We think minimum wage like 10, 12 bucks an hour, but minimum wage in sports is like $1 million a year. For some reason, they're willing to risk all that in order to win 20 grand. They're willing to risk all that in order to win 30 grand. And it's absolutely crazy. Jason Garcia says it is not a Christian thing to do. So no, gambling will not be legal here. Jason, this is not a Christian nation. We are a nation of all faiths. If I was to go on my phone right here, you will find a lot of Christians. You'll find a lot of Muslims. You'll find a lot of Hindus. You'll find a lot of agnostics and a lot of atheists in there. The Christian thing to do is not a thing when it comes to legislating anything in this country. But there is support there for legalized gambling in Texas. If this was put on the ballot right now, it would win by a landslide, both in the legislature and in the ballot box. The thing is that this is being held up by Dan Patrick. It's being held up by Greg Abbott, right? Because they know that it would pass. And it's simply them bowing down to their masters when it comes to whoever funds them, who's against it. Has nothing to do with it. Jason comes out and says there's a lot of things that isn't what Christians should do, yet they do it anyway. Jason Garcia comes out and says, I know that, Mike, it's the Christian nationalists who are trying to take over the country. Well, I mean, I don't want to get into politics when it comes to that, but there's a problem with that. I look at my parents, my mom will talk to me about that all the time. She's like, that's not the Christianity that I know. And it's kind of a sad fact.
Hey, we do have somebody on the line.
Who do we got?
The one and only Jeff Garcia.
Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 with us on Joe Garcia's birthday. Moneybags. How you doing,
man? We got to introduce him properly.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
What are we doing now? Here comes the money.
Money.
Oh, good Lord.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Now, first of all, we want to apologize to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 because, I know that you would want to have Malachi Branham hanging out at a French steakhouse. But instead, he's going to be at the Taco Bell at Petrenko Road, just outside of 1604 today. Can we expect to see Jeff Garcia out there?
50-50. A, it's too far, and then B, I gotta work. So,
dude, that too far excuse is going way too far. I mean,
I like it. It's a shtick. I like it, Jeff.
It ain't on the south side or downtown at minimum.
Yeah, I like it how he says it's too far and then he'll show up anyway.
He's got like a 6-mile radius.
Oh,
hey! I broke my radius for you, Jimenez.
You did, but it took me bitching and moaning to make that happen, man. But no, so Jeff Garcia, man, we're talking about the Spurs last night. The Spurs have a chance against the Knicks to have a winning streak for the first time since December of 2022. The Spurs last night took care of the Jazz, fell behind 4-3, and then they took over, and that was it, man. They raced out to a 118-111 victory. Devin Vassell with 31 points. Wemby played his 64th game of the season, which means plays one more. He qualifies for things like All-NBA and things like that. What have you seen, Jeff, in the last 2 games from the Spurs? Do you think to yourself, okay, they're starting to click a little bit as the season comes to a close?
Hey, real quick, Jeff, do you think that Mike owes Jeremy Sohan an apology? Because he's had 2 good games in a row.
I signed the damn form.
No, would you sign it in pencil?
He signed it in pen.
In pen. Not in blood, but I signed it in
But
pen.
yesterday he goes, well, Jeremy Sohan's going to have one good game and then like 3 bad games in a row. Well, he's had 2 good games in a row, Jeff. So
There you go. Well, we'll see if it continues.
So Jeremy Sohan last night, following up his 28 or was he 26 and 18? A couple of games, games ago.
yeah.
He was 17
Game
points.
winning shot too.
He did, yeah, 17 points. Knocked down 2 3-pointers last night in 7 attempts. He had 9 rebounds, 2 assists, but most importantly, he had 5 steals. Very active there in the passing lanes. Is he what's sticking out for you right now in the last 2 games?
Individually, he's one of them, but collectively, my first thought when I'm seeing them win these last 2 games was, guys, there's a draft lottery ahead, right? That's my first thought. Just kicking in there, like there's a draft lottery ahead. Now you want to start clicking. Now you want to start playing better. But kidding aside and lottery aside, yeah, they're playing better. You ask yourself, did Phoenix lose that game, that second game at home at the Frost, or did the Spurs win? It sounds like Phoenix felt like they let it go. But nevertheless, look, they're taking care of business. You got to take wins where they come. The guys are very happy about this. You're looking at the Devin Vassell putting back-to-back games, really impressive games after that stinker he had in that first Phoenix meeting in San Antonio. All in all, it's looking good. This thread keeps on repeating again, even late in the season as it's about to end, is still adjusting to Wemby. That's still coming up, and I'm a little surprised by that because you had already X amount of games already under their belt, and they still trying to figure it out. To me, that's a little baffling, but hey, something to work on the next season, I guess. So all in all, everything's really good. Malachi's been playing a lot better. You're looking at the team, Blake Wesley, is he up there for a Spurs most improved player for the Spurs? I think he make an argument for that. So all in all, the team's looking good as they wrap up the season.
Now we're seeing something that the Spurs haven't done in a while, and that is win 4 out of 10 games. Almost at 500 for a 10 game stretch there. The Spurs at one point were 11 and 48. Right now they're 17 and 56, which means that they're 6 and 8 in the last 14 games, which means they've gone from being crap to just being close to mediocre. Okay? They're getting some wins, which is an improvement. I'm not trying to rain on that parade, but that is an improvement there. You mentioned Devin Vassell's name. I mean, Vassell had a crappy game a few games ago where he only had a couple of points. But beside all that, 31 points, including a crazy shot to end one of the quarters yesterday, just kind of falling towards the left. And even the announcers were like, what is he doing? That's an awkward shot. And it went in. So it was one of those nights for him. And I found it interesting. A couple of things. This is what I'm seeing from the Spurs, that last night they won despite the fact that it was a sloppy game and there were a lot of turnovers. And
but credit the Spurs, to be 40 assists though. 40 assists is pretty good.
Well, what I was getting to that is that you have 21 turnovers, but you also forced 21 turnovers, and therefore it was a wash, right? So then it becomes, what can you do offensively? But you're right, it's about all the assists that you see out there. Trey Jones with 9, Wemby with 6, Zach Collins with 6, C.D. Osman with 6. There's 4 players out there with 6. Zach Collins had 6. Blake Wesley had 4. There was a lot of ball movement over there, and it was very reminiscent. I'm not going to go out and say, there they are doing the beautiful game, right, from 2013 and 2014. I'm not going to say that, but it at least showed that there's a familiarity that they haven't had all season long. They're finding the right guy, and the right guy is taking the right shot. And it was nice to see. I mean, it shows a little bit of growing and maturity, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, with what, 8 games left on the season?
9-8 games left. Look, I mean, Popovich has thrown the immature word a lot more often than not this season. Is that his new soft card? Remember, he would go to that thing, during the Big 3 era. Now he says immature. So, but nevertheless, look, good win. They can carry this over into the new season. So they'll be proud about to close out the season. But it doesn't get any easier. And they got the Knicks up next. I think they have Denver twice. So they're still going to be battle tested, but it's good. It's good for these kids to squeeze in as much experience they can. going into the off season, and then hopefully that'll translate into the training camp and preseason. But all in all, good stuff. We just wrapped up recording Locked On Spurs for tomorrow to wrap up the weekend. Rudy Campos was a filling guest.
Nice.
And we had a interesting question. So here's the question. See what you guys think about this. So Spurs are likely going to get a very high draft pick, maybe possibly number 1. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
So whatever they land, in this draft that many consider, so, do they go best available or best fit?
They're always
in this particular draft.
In this particular draft, the Spurs are probably going to go with best available player. They rarely go ahead and pick to fill a need unless they're going into the second round.
Yeah.
But here's the bigger question. If the Spurs know that this is a weak draft and they're looking at the players that are available, and if it's somebody that's going to be another guard, for example, that's really Trey Jones-esque, do you go ahead and trade that pick away and move further down into the second round and possibly have more picks so you can start filling the need? That's something that they can look at as well. I doubt Brian Wright will go ahead and do that because he doesn't make those types of moves per se, but that's another option.
I'm going to go ahead and say that unless it's Alexander Sarr, who's a power forward center,
top
7-1
pick,
if you're drafting at 1 or 2, I think the Spurs are going to go with the best player available.
Yeah.
If it's 3 and beyond, I think they're going to go by what they need. Because what do the Spurs need? They need a 1 and a 3. Right?
They definitely need somebody who could shoot.
Wemby at 5. Okay, we have Sohan at 4, and we've got Vassell at the 2. If we're not going to trade and go after a Trae Young, we need to have some sort of 1 or a 3, because Julian Champagnie is not that guy. Even though he had 17 points last night, he's not that guy, and Trey Jones isn't that guy. Just call it what it is. But if you look at all the players that are available in the draft, guess what? It's heavy on. It's heavy on 1s and 3s.
Mm-hmm.
And the Spurs right now have the 3rd worst record in the NBA. I'm glad you mentioned, Jeff, that they're winning games. And like, wait a minute, you got a lottery to think of, and all these teams are the 4th, 5th, and 6th worst records are losing like crazy. Spurs could fall a little bit further down if they continue to win. But the Spurs right now, worst case scenario, would be drafted at number 7. So that being said, you look at the names on the board. Nikola Topic, well, he's a point guard. Zachary Reed-Sarchet, he's a small forward. Reed Shepherd, Rob Dillingham, they're both guards. Cody Williams, small forward. Ron Holland, small forward. Buzelis, small forward. Stephon Castle, point guard. It just seems like every single person on here, in this top 10 in the draft, the top 2 tiers happen to be point guards and small forwards.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So unless the Spurs get the number 1 overall pick and think to themselves, you know what we can do? We can have the Twin Towers going on, move Sohan to the 3, or move Wemby to the 3, and have a Sarr, Wemby, Sohan, 3-headed monster down low, then I can see them doing that. That's not necessarily satisfying a need. That's more of a want at that point, but I would understand it. But if they don't get the 1 or 2 pick and Sarr's off the board, dude, there's a
trade.
There is, as they would say in the Three Amigos, a plethora of 1s and 3s.
El Guapo.
I said that the Spurs, this is a draft where the Spurs can actually kind of buck that best available train and just go based on fit.
Yeah.
Because you can afford that in this draft. It's not like, oh my God, best available player is a Zion or Wemby or Halliburton or what have you. You can do that, and you're looking at the players available. Some fit what they need right now. You need shooting, there's Shepherd. You need another big with Wemby, there's Sarr. I think you can do that.
The one that I'm focusing a lot on right now, and I think a lot of it's because of the success of his brother, is Cody Williams out of Colorado. Tavarius on our YouTube stream says Spurs need to get a bucket getter, right? So
that they do need.
Why not get a guy like a Cody Williams out of Colorado and then go get a experienced point guard out there?
Look at what D'Lo says.
Point guard.
Alex Sarr is Nerlens Noel.
Well, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, Sarr is just a very young man. He's 18 years old right now. He'll be 18 during the draft.
Well, isn't that the thing with the draft? Not everybody that's in there, especially in the top picks, they might not always pan out. You
Well,
have some bust, you know.
It never does. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, when you do a top 10, 5 of them are going to be bust for one reason or another. And the question is, does it translate over? Because like Nikola Topic, who according to Tankathon right now is considered to be the number 1 prospect in this entire draft, they compare him to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They say he actually is very reminiscent of him at not today, but of where he was in the development at age 18 back then. Alexander Sarr, you know, they're saying is like a Jaren Jackson Jr. type of guy, more of a defensive guy who can, you know, dunk it down low. Zachary Reese-Sarchet, he has struggled the past month. The Spurs, we know that RC Buford has been out to France to see Reese-Sarchet play in person.
Yeah,
but this is a guy that is a slasher. Reed Shepard, Rob Dillingham. Dillingham is Kemba Walker. I mean, they should just say, you know, with the 6th pick in the NBA draft, the Spurs select Kemba. I mean, Rob Dillingham. They're the same player. But I see where you're going with that, Jeff. And I think it is going to be a need ultimately, because I don't think the Spurs are drafting 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, expect that and more tomorrow on Locked On Spurs with Rudy Campos.
Very cool. Talking to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. You can follow him on Twitter and on Threads at Jeff G Spurzone. He's also at Kens5.com. Now, have you met the other Mike Jimenez that's over at Ken's 5?
The doppelganger?
I have not.
So
I showed you proof. I met your doppelganger at the gym before.
That's true. That is
I would
true.
ask Michael Jimenez, the one at Ken's 5. Is he 1-0 in Fiesta fights?
You're gonna put me on a lie detector test when it comes to that. Jason Garcia earlier was asking the question to Jeff, are you surprised that I'm judging an eating contest, a food contest
Oh God,
at the barbecue cook-off, because I am one of the quote-unquote celebrity judges for the chicken portion?
You're a celebrity? When did that happen?
I am more than famous. I'm infamous.
Jeff, he's going to be judging chicken, bro.
Well, I mean, how many samples are you going to need, Jimenez, before you make a decision?
Well, apparently I've been waiting my entire life for this. I mean, it's free food. It's for a good cause. You know, I have a dad bod for a reason, and it's chicken.
Yeah.
I mean, you could eat chicken all day long. It's not like a pie.
I could pull some strings to get you to judge sausage if you want.
Oh no! Make it happen! Make it happen, Joe. Please make it happen.
I'll take the photo like I did with the beers.
Oh,
Jeff,
no!
man.
Don't you dare! Actually, yes, do that, Jimenez. Do that, on social media.
I know, it was funny because I go on Twitter yesterday, and I'd been working, and everyone's like, Jimenez should have stayed off Twitter today because he was getting cooked. And I'm like, dude, I'm working on my 1099s right now, my man.
Yeah, I barely got my W2.
I ain't doing my Twitter at 3 in the afternoon. What's going on over here?
I had to get my W2 from my employer. I was like, where's my W2 at? They said, oh, we sent it, never got it. They finally gave it to me. So now I can finally do the taxes because the wife's been on my ass. So that's what I was doing yesterday. And I'm looking at Twitter and I'm just seeing Mike getting cooked. And you know who's the catalyst behind all this?
Who's that?
Jeff Garcia.
No, it was not me. It was.
I like
Jeff.
I like Jeff.
Go.
He doesn't start it, but he'll sure as shit continue it.
Everybody was continuing it yesterday. Everybody.
But I like it how Jeff likes to go ahead and just poke the hornet's nest too. I love it, Jeff. I love it.
As I mentioned, I'm living rent free in a lot of people's minds right now.
Oh,
and
no.
Mike,
no.
It is nice. It is nice. Hey, Jeff. So the Spurs right now, correct me if I'm wrong, 17 wins. They need 3 more wins to at least tie the worst record of all time in Spurs franchise history. Do you think they'll get to 20?
I think so. I think they get 20. Look, they got the Pistons to close out the game. Pretty sure Pistons going to be loving to lose that game. They got a couple other cellar dwellers, and who knows? Maybe Denver might rest players. Some of these play-in bound teams. Well, maybe playoff teams, I should say. Will rest some kids. Spurs get away. Look, they surprised Phoenix. I mean, who knows if some teams just take the Spurs lightly as Phoenix did. But yeah, no, I can see them beating the Warriors. I can see them beating the Pistons to close out the game. Probably not the Knicks. I could see them beating the Grizzlies. So yeah, I think they can get very close to tying it. Maybe they beat one of the Nuggets games. They do got 2 April 2nd and April 12th. I can see the April 12th game if they sit, Joker and Porter and all those guys. So yeah, I think they can tie it.
Can we take bets on whether or not Sohan gets into a fight with Draymond Green? Draymond Green last night ejected 4 minutes into the game. The Warriors needed a victory to stay in the hunt for the play-in tournament.
Eliminated.
They still won. They still won to move third to 38 and 34. They beat the Magic 101 to 93. But Draymond Green, just one game before, hooked Patty Mills, former Spur great Patty Mills, by the neck. And it was brutal. He got called for a technical foul last night, arguing about a call. How do you get so heated 4 minutes into the game, other than the fact that you didn't want to be there?
Unless your name is Draymond Green, then yes, that's how you get heated.
His nickname is Donkey, dude. He looks like Donkey from Shrek.
Yeah. Who does it? Yeah, and he looks like Donkey from Shrek, and Klay Thompson looks like the PBS logo. Who's more to blame for being unable to corral Draymond Green? Is it Steve Kerr or Steph Curry?
That's Steve Kerr, man.
I'm gonna go with Steve Kerr. I mean, you figure Steve Kerr has experience in personalities. And did he play with Dennis Rodman on the Bulls teams?
He did.
He sure did.
He did. Yeah. So there, he has experience in that. He saw maybe how
with
Phil
Michael
Jackson
Jordan
handled that.
too. Michael Jordan
And with Jordan, yeah.
He had an attitude.
So yeah, a little surprised by that. But if Draymond did say, that he considered a retirement after he got suspended for what he did to was it Nurkic, I think?
Yeah.
And so
and then he had also gotten Rudy Gobert in a headlock.
He stepped on him. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's is a nutcase.
Yeah.
He's a head case, and he had to be forced to go into some sort of counseling, and
he contemplated retirement. They should have just said, you know what, just retire, dude.
Just sit out. Because he's going to. You remember back in the day those videos of the 70s of Rudy Tomjanovich getting cold cocked out there?
Man.
That's going to happen one day. And if you had to bet who it's going to be, like if I was to say that there's going to be another Malice at the Palace or another Rudy T situation, who would you bet that it was going to be? Everyone would say Draymond. Everyone would say him. And I wonder, why don't other players like step up to him? Like we saw DeMar DeRozan last week step up to people.
Yeah.
He stepped up to guy from the Rockets. What's his name again? Dylan Brooks.
That guy's dick.
he stepped up to him. Why don't people step up to Draymond Green? It's not like there's going to be an actual fight on the court. I mean, more often than not, they're going to be pulled away from each other.
Draymond ain't doing nothing, dude. He's a cheap shot guy. He's not a fighter, bro. He ain't gonna throw down.
Now, cheap shot guy was the guy that knocked
down Jordan Poole.
Vince Young.
Did you see that? Did you see Vince Young get knocked out?
Got cold cocked, dude.
Yeah. I did not see that coming.
It's on TMZ, man. He got knocked. Do you know what out?
Should Spurs fans be cheering for the Houston Rockets to make the play-in tournament?
They've won 10 in a row.
10 in a row.
Yeah, Houston's coming on big time right now, and
isn't that so sad for a lot of Spurs fans? Spurs Twitter, who's been talking shit all year long, going, "You see, you guys wouldn't been any good." And then a lot of Rockets fans are there saying, "Well, if Wemby was with us, we'd be so much better." And a lot of Spurs fans are there saying, "You guys suck just like we do." And now you see the Houston Rockets go off and, like you said, win 10 in a row and have a chance of finishing above 500. Right now, 37 and 35 on the year, tied with the Warriors for the last spot.
And here we are. The Spurs are the worst team in Texas. When for so long, the Spurs dominated Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. By the way, I didn't say this. Happy birthday, Joe.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. And
Jeff, I sent you your gift already, so you're good.
Jeff already took care of me, man. I appreciate you.
Very nice. I owe you either. You sent me that blue alcohol. I was going to jot it down.
Balcones, the baby blue.
Balcones, baby blue.
Yeah, that's a nice bottle right there.
What kind of liquor is
What's that? What is that, Joe?
It's bourbon, man. They make it out of blue corn, and it is so smooth, man. It gets you in trouble, Jeff, because I mean, you drink it and you're like, wow, this is good stuff.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you're like 3 or 4 pours in, you're ready to go to sleep.
No, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So if you're hungry for a crunchy gordita wrap, you can come with the side of a Malachi Branham autograph.
God,
he's going to be over.
The way you say things, Jimenez.
It's called a segue.
No, but I keep fine. Segue, yeah, but the way you say it, though. You want to crunch on something to eat in the side of Malachi. What is that about?
Jeez.
I'm not saying that it was the best segue ever, but it was a segue nonetheless.
Well,
Yeah,
you
I
got
know.
some good ones.
I'm not hating on your segue. I'm just hating with your phraseology.
What did they tell you when you were at the ESPN? You had a segue where they were just like, damn it.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I did a show with Rob Thompson, and it was my turn to I don't know. I was running in sports talk radio. There's the driver, and then there's the passenger. The driver is the one that introduces the segment, is the one that kind of takes it to the commercial break and transitions. And so, for example, Sports Star, I was the driver, Spence was the passenger. Minix is the driver, Reinagel was and then Rob was the driver, Rudy was the passenger. And so in this particular show, Rob was the passenger, and we're talking, and I did a transition. I don't know what I did, and his eyes just bugged out. And he said, hey, before we go to commercial break, he goes, that was the most like excellent, perfect transition of all time. He goes, that was grade A quality. He goes, what the hell did that come from? He goes, it was funny, it was informative, and we're going to break, and he was like applauding me. But yeah, not all segues are good, man. But you know, it keeps the show flowing, man.
You want a
Keeps
side
it
of
flowing.
Malachi Branham with that?
It's not about
Oh my God! See, you said like that.
So you know, if you want to,
Oh, God.
if you want to check out a Spurs player in real life and have a Baja Blast while doing it, head on over to the Taco
man.
Bell on Petranco and 1604. Jeff Garcia, 50% chance of being there. Michael Jimenez, 50% chance of being there as well.
You're giving me some pushback on that. Look at you, 50% as well.
Jeff won't eat that Taco Bell. He knows what's in it. You know how many days he's going to have to be on the treadmill if he even gets a bite
Yeah, I
of the
know.
Well,
gordita, dude?
that's the thing, man. Taco Bell is actually low calorie.
Oh, no, bro.
Dude,
It's nasty
It is.
stuff.
It is a mostly low-cal
So
diet.
calorie.
I'm not saying that it's good for you.
Eat that from do that Supersize Me documentary, Taco Bell style. Then eat Taco Bell for a year, see what happens.
Well, I'm not saying that it's good for you, but what I'm saying is that it's not very high caloric. It's high in sodium.
Man, that Baja Blast itself, that's like what, 2 bags of sugar, Jeff?
Well, I mean, who says
Something
you need to
like
have the
that, yeah.
Baja Blast? I mean, just have a.
Yeah. What happened, man? We lost the stream for a second.
Dude, and I know that you talked to us about football, Jeff, but the new rule involving the NFL has adopted for the upcoming football season the XFL's rule when it comes to kickoffs.
What's that? Oh, they don't. What is it? They don't return it, or what is it rule?
Okay, so basically, if I understand this correctly, you know how it used to be, you'd line up like on the 35, and the other team would line up 20 yards further away. Well, now they're lining up all on the opposite side of the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what they're afraid of is that 80% of kicks after a touchdown, start of the game, halftime, whatever the case may be, they just go into the end zone and they start the ball at the 25-yard line. Well, that's no fun, right? Because you and I could just sit there and watch the ball sail over our head, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what they're doing is they're incentivizing people kicking the ball in play, right? So if the ball is kicked out of the end zone, right, instead of taking the ball to 25, the team that kicked the ball is penalized because the other team will get the ball to 35. Okay, so they're trying to get people to kick the ball within the 0 to 20-yard marker, right? And at that point, they have to field it and go. But the thing is that back in the day, the team that was kicking would have a running start, right? And they'd go and they'd hit you after running 50 yards straight, straight line. In this sense, they're being lined up on the opposite side of the field, just 5 yards away from each other, and they cannot move until the other team has fielded the ball.
Oh, I see.
So like
they just want to see some of that action happening.
Yes. So it's like, you got the ball? Okay, let's go. The other thing about it is that now an onside kick has to be declared.
What do you mean has to be declared?
You have to tell the officials and tell the other team, we're going to kick an onside kick. When my Saints won the Super Bowl 15 years ago, it was because Sean Payton had the balls to do an onside kick when no one was expecting. Saints recovered and go on to win the game, right? Think about all the surprise onside kicks. Now, to have an onside kick in the NFL, you have to alert the official, who then has to alert the other team. By the way, they're doing an onside kick.
Why?
Because they don't want anybody to get hurt.
Oh, that's bullshit, dude. So you're going to have to, eventually they're going to say, well, if you're going to call a trick play, you got to let the other team know.
Well, they kind of do in a way
like,
sometimes. You have to like, this player needs to be named eligible, things like that. But it's just so lame. Now, Sith is reaching out to us on our YouTube stream saying the kickoff is better than those damn touchbacks. I mean, I see that. But what was best was what they did before, which was play the damn game and kick the ball off from the 30-yard line, unable to kick it through. You know what? What they should do, kick it from the 25 so that the other team has to field it and go run and knock their heads off, man. They changed the rule on the twist tackle. You can't tackle with the crown of your helmet. You can't do anything defensively. And there's going to be a point. There's going to be a point when there's backlash when it comes to this from the fans.
Did you see the other rule change that they want to put into effect? You have all these.
Hey guys, let me let y'all go because y'all gonna start talking NFL.
All right,
it's rather that than I pull the Irish exit and just hang up.
All right. Hope to see you at the Taco Bell. I'm a 50-50 also because just like you, it's a work thing. So if I get
I gotta work.
Yeah, so I don't blame you.
Jeff, are you gonna go watch the new Godzilla movie this weekend?
I am, but I'm gonna go there with low expectations based on the reviews. So
okay, yeah, we'll talk about it afterwards.
Oscar award-winning movie, but yeah, happy birthday, Joe.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.
So the new rule change now that they're looking at is they have all these rules where you can't go ahead and tackle somebody. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't lead off with the helmet. You can't pull the collar. You can't do all these things. Now, the one thing that they were doing is grabbing the guy by the waist, which you can, leaning back and kind of turning and trying to bring him to the ground, right?
Yeah.
Now they want to outlaw that. So I'm like, what the hell are you supposed to do?
I saw this Instagram reel yesterday saying that future tackling is going to be like this, and it was the water boy, and the guy picks him up and lays him gently on the ground. It goes namaste.
I want that Bobby Bougier tackle. He just puts his head down.
And they used to sell those videos in the 80s and 90s of the hardest hits in the NFL.
I remember that.
They used to celebrate it. It was like we lived a life where it was that and Faces of Death, right?
Yeah. I remember the hits though. They would hit guys so hard. They would do the helicopter. Where they would spin and then like boom.
Dude, I mean, my favorite player growing up in all of the NFL was Ernest Givens, number 81 from the Oilers. He was my favorite. That guy would just run through the middle of the field, get his head knocked off, and just stand back up.
LT, Lawrence Taylor used to knock the hell out of people, man.
Now, I understand when it got dirty with like Hines Ward.
Oh, yeah.
Hines Ward would do that thing where there'd be an interception, and when a defensive back was not even paying attention and a defensive back was 100 yards away, he'd go and he'd, hit him in the bottom of the neck. I mean, stuff like that, and injure players and get them out for the year.
Hey, Troy Polamalu too,
Hines
man.
Ward, Hines Ward was a coach here in San Antonio for whatever
season,
whatever minor league team we had here. If I went to go see him, Brahmas, I would never even say hi to him. Like if I had media credentials, I would never say hi to him. If you were doing that on the field, then you're like that in real life, and I don't want to be around you. You're a jackass. Like I wouldn't want to be around Draymond Green. Right? Draymond Green is probably sick. He's probably mentally ill. And there's two types of mentally ill when it comes to stuff like that. There's the I'm violent because I'm a child and I don't know how to control myself.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: he's coddled. No one actually punishes him. You think he was really punished 20 some odd games?
No.
You think that was a real punishment for him? It really wasn't. But then you go off into like other types of mental health issues. I got to know Ricky Williams a few times. I interviewed Ricky Williams when he was with UT, and he was a teenager, and he had the visor on and the helmet, and he wouldn't talk because he had social anxiety.
Yeah, he had really bad anxiety, man.
Yeah, and now later on, you realize that that's what he had. You're like, oh, he wasn't a jerk. He was just actually not. He was just not capable of doing it. It wasn't because he didn't want to do it.
He was gripped with fear, dude.
Yeah. And now you become more enlightened. And whenever I say this and I go, I'm more enlightened, you get another half of the people out there going, oh, well, that's just some woke bullshit. And I'm like, dude.
No, Ricky Williams is a cool dude,
stupid.
man. He's a cool guy.
He's a good guy. He's also friends with members of my family. And he's gotten to become members. And I've got to hang out with Ricky a few times. And I met him again over at San Antonio at the Super Bowl Radio Row.
I can only imagine what he went
weird.
through, Mike. He's young, right? You can't really talk about mental illness at the time.
Right.
And you're having to go in a stadium filled with thousands of people, and you already have anxiety? I mean, come on, man.
I mean, there's certain players that live for it, right?
Yeah.
You can't be that and be the quarterback, right?
True that.
The quarterback is the face. And even when you're in high school, when you're in middle school, if you're the quarterback of the team, you are the face of the team. And therefore, you have to be extroverted and you have to be outwardly there. When you're a running back or you're somebody else, different position, you don't necessarily have to be. But Ricky Williams was Heisman Trophy winner. Ricky Williams was somebody who was a star and people wanted to know about him.
Yeah, he was in the spotlight.
And he did not have the mental health capacity to fulfill the obligations that were asked of him.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself, God, that guy's just a weirdo. He's just on pot. He's just on all that.
He's smoking the pot because he's trying to cope.
Yeah. And 15, 20 years later, you look back at Ricky Williams and I think to myself, you know what? I get it.
Yeah.
Because mental health is a big deal. Mental health is a big deal because without treating mental health, I mean, there's a lot of reasons for things like school shootings and whatnot, but mental health is a big component of it all.
Yeah.
Not the only component, but it's a big component of it all. And I know that when it comes to like my kids, if they have a mental health issue or they're struggling with something, you got to take that shit seriously. You can't just like go, oh, well, it's going to get better. Or you know what?
Man.
It'll just toughen them up, you know? It's so funny because I talk about people who use the word alpha. You know, an alpha wouldn't do this. You know, real men drive this type of truck and real men do it. Dude, anybody who says that is so fucking insecure, dude. Seriously, real men don't worry about what other men are doing. Okay, that's what real men do. They don't give a shit.
Oh, what do you think about the guys driving around those big old trucks with the truck nuts on the car?
With the truck nuts. I mean, dude, if I see anybody with a Biden or a Trump, what's it called, flag or sticker, I'm like, good God, they're just fucking politicians. Far left, far right, both of them stupid. Just is what it is, man. Is what it is. Dilo reached out and says, that's the Mexican culture. Our families don't believe in mental health issues.
That is the truth right there.
I would say that was the truth.
You know, well, in our generation, you know, our parents and the way they were raised. Now that we have kids at our age, we know better.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like when you said, you know, if you want water, you have to work harder.
Yeah, that was the mentality.
And that's it's funny because it's funny because it's true, because that was the mentality back in the day of how sports was indoctrinated into people, right? But then you go off into the parents being like, I want my kid to be whatever. I want my kid to do this and the other. And, you know, mental health, you know, my kid's not going to see a therapist and all that stuff. And I think what ends up happening is that people became more enlightened. And I think that the generations now understand better.
Right.
I think that we're the first generation, Joe, because you and I are both in our 40s.
Yeah.
I think we both have this understanding that our parents didn't have and our uncles and aunts didn't have. And it's not that they are bad people. It's just it wasn't widely accepted, right? It was like in hushed tones.
Yeah.
Did you hear that he's in therapy? Did you hear that? Blah, 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 blah. Did you hear? I'll tell you what, though, for anyone listening to this, if you've ever had any mental health issues or suspect that, bad thoughts, going through a divorce, going through depression, going through all that, one of the best things you can ever do is go to therapy. I went to 10 therapy sessions last year, Joe. I'm not afraid to admit it. You know what? That makes me a man because I went.
You needed help, and you sought it out.
Yeah, I had anxiety.
Yeah,
I had a little bit of depression going on. I had a lot of stuff
you
going on.
had a lot of things happening to you all at once.
Oh, dude, I was asked for a divorce. My business partner left. My dog died. I lost my radio show, all in about 6 weeks.
It was like the perfect storm there,
All in 6 weeks. My radio show gone. My wife gone. My dog died. My business partner decided to leave. Dude, it was a struggle. There's a reason why I shut down the podcast. You all continued without me, and you kept on coming at me going, Michael, are you getting better? Do you want to come back? And I kept telling you I want to come back, but I was not capable because my head was not on straight. I couldn't focus and all that. The only thing I could do good was actually work.
Yeah. And you know what? During that time, we had a lot of people who were like, I'm not going to follow the show. I'm not going to go ahead and follow you, because they were thinking that there was something nefarious going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to be the guy to go out and let everybody know about your business, because that's private. But you came back and you cleared the air and let everybody know what was happening, and things have been a lot different.
Right. And it takes, Mario Kovacic is out and says, it's just like Mike said, San Antonio's poor. We can't afford to see a mental therapist. Well, not all mental therapists cost money. You can go to a church. You can go to a school counselor. You can go to, you can be counseled by somebody who just loves you.
Yeah.
Some of the best therapy that I've ever had has been through friends. Why am I doing this now? It's because I have friends from high school who've reached out to me and who said, hey, Michael, you really need to get back into doing that. My friend Sean, my friend Alex, my friend Valerie. I mean, Valerie was the one that hit me over the head a little bit and was like, why aren't you doing your show when this is what you like doing? It's an outlet for you. It makes you happy. I think a lot of times people think that you and I do this show for
likes or clicks or
for
something.
likes, clicks, or money, right? Don't be wrong. We do accept sponsorships and we have made money on this show.
Yeah.
But that's not why we do it.
Yeah. We do it because we like it.
It is a hobby.
Yeah.
It is a hobby.
We have day jobs.
Yeah. I will be talking to somebody about a couple 100,000 in investments in about 45 minutes at noon.
This is just an outlet to talk sports, hang out with everybody. It's a safe place for everyone.
And by the way, for those listening, if you have a mental health issue, you're feeling depressed or something like that, feel free to DM me on Twitter. I'm at MJ Acquire Taste. DM me on Facebook, Instagram, wherever. If you need someone to talk to, go grab a beer with, and you're going through a divorce or you're going through something going on in your world, I mean, I can be that guy also. Okay. It's just a community is what you need. And Charlie reaches out and says, Mexican culture makes a person with these issues look like a weak individual. And I see what you're saying. And I'm not saying that you believe that. But what I am saying is that the strength comes from not giving a shit. The strength comes from saying, I'm going to take care of myself and I don't care what other people think.
Yeah.
People ask the question all the time, like, Michael, you get roasted on Spurs Twitter. You get roasted on X. You get roasted on whatever. Man, I used to have people call into my old radio show to roast me on the air, right?
You had people saying some pretty bad stuff too. Just the trolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is that how am I able to go past that? It's because I don't care. Unless it affects my work or someone is like attacking my family, I don't care.
You're like, I don't give a shit.
I don't give a shit. I think a lot of it's funny.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's funny. And so it's just one of those things where being a man means more than having dick and balls, dude. Being a man involves taking care of yourself and loving the ones that you love and being there for them, right?
Taking care of your people.
Dude, I mean, what can be being a man is playing dolls with your daughter.
True enough, man.
That is being a man. Going to your daughter's volleyball game, going to their band competition,
Going to work with your fingernails painted because you forgot
that they painted.
you were playing with
That
your
is
daughter.
being a man. Do you know what being a
Oh,
man is?
man.
Being a man is also watching the rom-com with the girl, with,
Yeah.
with your wife, your girlfriend, or whatever. Being a
Oh,
man is a lot of things. It's being a provider. It is being a leader. It's there's a lot that goes into it, and sometimes we fail.
Yeah. I still remember the time I went to work one time and I had my fingernails all painted up like orange and yellow and all these bright
Who
colors.
are you, Caleb Williams?
Dude, I stayed up and I was playing with my daughter, whatever. She wanted to play dress up or what have you. Then I, put her to bed and put the kids to bed. I forgot. I went to sleep and I'm so tired. I wake up at like 5:30 in the morning to be at work by like 6:37.
Yeah.
I'm there. I'm doing here typing on the keyboard and everything. And finally, by the time I get to the break room for my first break and I'm waking up, the guys are all, "What's up with the fingernails, bro?" I'm like,
Mario Cavasso says he misses tea parties with his girls.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
tea parties were the best, man.
You
My
know-
daughter always made those little snacks.
My daughter, my youngest one, she's 11. She's in middle school. And since the separation, she's been spending more time with her mom than me. She's with me a couple nights a week, 2-3 times a week, which sucks because I remember the days of having my kids in the house 7 days a week, right?
Yeah.
And part of the divorce is the separation, not only with the spouse, but it's also the aspect of the kids. And at this point, I don't know if I miss my spouse, I miss my kids more than anything else.
Yeah.
And my daughter the other day asked for me to pick her up and carry her.
Nah.
We were in public and she asked this, and it wasn't for very long. It was for like 15 seconds.
She just wanted to carry.
But that might be the last time I ever pick her up and carry her.
Yeah.
Look at my daughter that's in Louisiana. I spend so much time with her over the phone. I talk to her every day for at least 15 or 20 minutes. That's my girl.
Yeah.
And it's
I got a in studio guest I got to get real quick.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm gonna just pop off real quick.
Very nice, very nice. Daniel Castro reaches out and says Jimenez is the real one. USOA always gives mad respect to MJ. He can take a hit. And Mario coming out and saying, "Thank you, Mike and Joe, for being real." And that's it, man. Doing this show doesn't necessarily have to be about sports all the time or about the baddie brackets. It could just sometimes be a real scenario. And you can always reach out to me, man. I mean, my ears are open. I'll go grab a beer with you. We can go hang out and talk about certain things. But this is very, very, very important to me. The Drew Show with one hell of a super chat. My goodness. I think that's going to get us to our goal for the month, but I'll tell Joe about that one. D'Lo reaches out and says, toxic masculinity makes you less of a man. That stems from true insecurity. 100% agree with you, D'Lo. I go across things and I see things online, whether it be on TikTok or Twitter, and people come out and say, you're not a real man if you don't do this, or if you do this, you're not a real man. It's so stupid. It absolutely is stupid. And I don't, and sometimes you can be taken in jest when you're just like making fun of somebody. But whenever it's a, they're being honest with themselves about it, and they're saying that that's their true thoughts, that throws me off. Look at this super chat right here from the Drew Show.
Damn, Drew.
$45.
Damn, Drew.
Saying happy birthday lunches on me, Joe. Enjoy. You don't even have to unblock me.
That's the running joke with Drew.
Remember when I accidentally blocked Matt Lerma?
Oh yeah.
And everyone came down on me, and they're like, "How did you block him? Why did you block him? What did he do?" He's there doing a what's it called, a Twitter
intervention,
a Twitterverse or whatever it's called. Yeah, he's going out there doing all that, and he's saying, "Man, he blocked me." And he had like 30 people there listening to this, and I'm wondering, why the hell is this going on? Because I didn't block him. Later on, someone reached out to me and said, "Michael, well, we know what happened. You X'd out of his chat, and it actually gives you the option to block at that point." But oh my goodness, I got thrown off, man. We have a celebrity sighting going on over here inside the studio. So forgive me for losing track for about 15 seconds there. I got stunned for about 6 seconds. I was like, that ain't him.
Yeah,
What's going on?
We're having a good time.
What's going on, man? So we've been talking about toxic masculinity. You know,
The show goes off the rails, bro.
Yeah, you know, we talk about things like sports, pop culture, nostalgic things, and then we got into toxic masculinity and about mental health issues
And guys
how-
driving around trucks with truck nuts on the back.
Yeah.
I told Mike, what do you think about that?
I mean, nothing screams insecure like that. Hey, we need to talk about the baddie brackets real fast.
Oh, yeah. Let's get into the baddie bracket talk.
Okay,
man.
so here comes the toxic masculinity part of the show. Okay,
Sweet 16, full disclosure, but our version is hot women.
yeah, so we're doing a baddie brackets where we're trying to figure out who the 2024's hottest celebrity is, right? And it has to be 2024. I'm not
Yeah.
talking about it's Salma Hayek of 2024, not Salma Hayek of From Dusk Till Dawn 1997. Okay, it is today. So we've had different types of brackets. We have the quirky bracket.
Yeah.
We have the pop star bracket. We have the Hollywood bracket.
The starlets.
The starlets. And sometimes we had some upsets. We had the wrestling baddies. We had all sorts of baddies out there. And the problem is, Joe, is that we were supposed to start the Sweet 16 today, but I apparently can't count.
You can't?
And we have 28 people who advanced. So we can do it one of two ways.
That's a lot of people, bro.
We still have 28 baddies.
Sweet 28.
Damn.
I can't think of an alliteration for 28. You know,
How do you cut it down?
The top 28. Okay, so what I'm thinking about doing is getting the top 8 in votes
Okay.
that we've already had and giving them buys into the Sweet 16 and then having the other 20 fight it out in a group poll on
Fight it
Twitter.
out.
So here's who's advanced so far. Out of the quirkies, we had Anna Kendrick,
Okay. The Cup Girl.
the Cups girl.
Yeah,
Pitch
yeah.
Perfect, right? She was also nominated for an Academy Award. Let's put some respect on Anna Kendrick's name. We have Aubrey Plaza, who, I mean, that's like demon quirky.
That's crazy hot. What are you
Yeah.
talking about, dude?
We have AT&T Lily.
Oh, man. Lily.
Mm-hmm. And we have Jenna Ortega from all the scary movies or the Scream movies, rather, the new ones.
Yeah.
Also from Netflix's Wednesday. Hollywood crushes. I cannot believe Margot Robbie did not make this list.
That's sacrilege, dude.
Blondie, Barbie, she got out. So advancing was Ana de Armas, Scarlett Johansson, who, by the way, had huge numbers in her poll.
Oh, that's the only thing huge on her, bro. Come on.
Sydney,
We got it. Our boys got a certain type.
Sydney Sweeney advanced
Big
with
surprise there.
along with Gal Gadot. So Wonder Woman advances. Now, when it came to old school crushes, Jessica Alba advanced. Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
She's still
advanced.
hot, by the way.
Tiffany
Jessica
Amber
Alba.
Thiessen's numbers were huge.
Oh, I bet.
Lacey Chabert and Thickie herself, Hillary Duff, advanced.
All right.
In the 50 and older division, Jennifer Lopez, Salma Hayek, who posted a huge number, Jennifer Aniston, and Sofia Vergara. Sofia Vergara barely advanced. She advanced in the last 30 minutes because she got 2 extra
Yeah.
votes ahead of Marissa Tomei.
She ain't making it through this round, dude.
No, I don't think so either. In the pop star division, advancing are Dua Lipa, Shakira, Rihanna, and Beyonce. My girl
Ooh,
Casey Musgraves didn't make it, man.
Shakira,
She was
bro.
close. She was close. The wrestling hotties, I believe it was Sasha Banks, Alexa Bliss, Trish Stratus, and Tiffany Stratton.
Okay.
I believe are the 4 that advanced. Social media influencers division. We have Paige Sporonic, Yannick Garcia. We had Addison Rae and Kendall Jenner.
Yanit, dude. That's top tier.
See, but that's the thing, though, man.
She OnlyFans.
We had a rule in here:
Yeah.
no porn stars, no OnlyFans. She
That was your rule.
that was a rule because we got to keep it clean around here.
Oh, you got to keep it classy.
But the thing is that Yannick Garcia became famous and then got on OnlyFans as
Yeah.
opposed to being famous because of an OnlyFans. Mario Cavazos reaches out to us on our YouTube stream and says, no matter the race or ethnicity, Paige Sporonic is the one.
No lies detected, dude. But she was disqualified because she has an OnlyFans.
Well, Paige Sporonic?
Yeah.
She doesn't have, well, does she?
She does.
Yeah, but she doesn't have a nudie one.
I don't know if it's nudie or not.
She's
I'm
never
paid
done.
for it
She's,
either way. I
she's
don't
never
look.
done nudie. She does an OnlyFans for golf.
I don't know what it's for, but technically it's an
or
OnlyFans.
Fansly or whatever they call it,
Yeah.
or OnlyFans or whatever. But it's for golf, so
Yeah.
she's not there doing anything different than what she does on her Instagram.
True.
Now, I like the fact that Drew Show says Jessica Alba is hot and rich. That's right, she's a billionaire.
So is Jessica Simpson, man.
Jessica Simpson, she's the. Oh, but we got to talk about that. Remind me about Jessica Simpson in a second, right?
We should have had $1 billion bracket, dude.
Ooh, that'd be Taylor
Damn.
Swift. That'd be Jessica Alba. Who else?
Jessica Simpson.
Well, I don't think she's a billionaire. But
She's a billionaire.
Bill Gates' ex-wife. Bill Gates' ex-wife. Whoever was
Bezos.
whoever was married to Bezos. The former teacher. She was actually kind of hot. Joe Gonzalez saying the Saved by the Bell vote came through huge. Oh, who's saying Alonzo saying we can't wait till we're done with this segment? We'll be done with this segment in about 2 weeks, dude. We'll be done with this segment in about 2 weeks.
No, Alonzo, wait. He's the only guy I don't like the segment. Dude.
By the way, he has an avatar or a profile pic rather
Costanza.
of George Costanza. Last night, I watched for the first time in many, many years. I did watch it when it first came out, but I hadn't seen it since. The final episode, the 1 hour episode of Seinfeld.
That was dumb.
It was actually pretty good.
Nah, dude, I didn't like it. It was stupid.
It's kind of like when you revisit The Sopranos.
Yeah.
The Sopranos, everyone hated the finale with the Don't Stop Believing. It was perfect, dude. When you go back and think about it, the end of the movie Whiplash, when the drummer looks up at J.K. Simmons' character and looks up and you don't even see the smile, but you can tell that J.K. Simmons is smiling and nodding.
Yeah.
And then the movie ends. It's one of those endings where you have to go back and admire it later.
Yeah.
Later. Real fast. So we were talking about Jessica Simpson. I saw a TikTok yesterday. It was Pablo Torre from ESPN, or formerly of ESPN. And he has a podcast. And one of the people that he had on there yesterday was a former producer of TRL.
Okay.
Total Request Live from MTV back in the
Carson
late 90s,
Daly.
early 2000s.
Yeah.
And remember how it was one of those things where he says, you call into this number, you place your vote, and the top 10 videos will be played for the day. Who's number one right now? It was all lies. It was all lies.
They already had it scripted.
They were saying that they were getting people calling in for bands like Korn, and they didn't want to play it because they didn't want to piss off teenagers. Korn was more of a, I mean, Korn, nothing wrong with Korn. I mean, they have some really good music, but Korn was more for the hardcore kids, and that wasn't the demo of who's watching MTV
And they were looking
at that
for
time.
that pop culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were saying that they kind of inflated the popularity of bands or musicians.
But yet they had Green Day on there. I remember Green Day coming on as a guest.
Well, the one that they brought on that they said that they believe that the reason why he's so popular was Eminem.
They brought him on.
That he was the acceptable rapper. And they went on to say that the whole phone lines, all that stuff, that they had no way of counting who was, people would call in and leave a message or whatnot. And then they would say that they would look at things like demographically, or they'd look at their ratings and go, wow, our ratings in Texas suck. They were saying that TRL in Texas was not as popular as it was in the West Coast and the Northeast.
Yeah.
So they were like, we need some Texas acts to be part of the countdown. We're going to have Jessica Simpson. But they would always rank her at the number that led into the commercial break so that they didn't have to play the full video.
They would play like half a video or something.
A 1 minute snippet
Yeah.
of it all.
I remember that.
But yeah, so Jessica Simpson, she would have been a 1 seed back in 2005 when John Mayer was calling her sexual napalm.
Oh God, dude.
John Mayer, the epitome of millennial toxic masculinity. But I respect it. Have we gone through the whole list of what we were talking about today? We've talked about the Spurs winning back-to-back games. They got the Knicks next. Draymond Green's a jackass. He ejected after 4 minutes.
Yeah, Donkey Green.
We talked about Malachi Branham going to be at the Petrenko and 1604 Taco Bell.
I ain't going to that.
Don't go to the Taco Cabana, the Taco Bell, because there's a Taco Cabana.
They said Taco Bell, bro. That's all they had to say, man.
It's the one right next to the Walmart, across from Planet Fitness and across from the Jack in the Box. It's over here on Petrenko and 1604, about half a mile outside the loop. If you're going outside the loop, it's going to be on your left-hand side. Malachi Branham will be there this afternoon. You can line up at 2:00.
Yeah, I ain't going to that.
to get an autograph or a photo. We talked about the new rules in the NFL, the new kickoff rule. Man, if you want to do an onside kick, you got to let the other team know.
That's stupid, man.
You got to let them know. Sweet 16 gets going tonight. We didn't really get much into that, but
yeah, well, we're going to get into it when we come back from break. Well, I'm probably going to still do the show tomorrow because we got a lot of boxing talk.
Oh, really?
No baseball.
Oh, we do get to talk about baseball opening day.
Oh, but it's just baseball. Dude.
Oh, come on.
It's just baseball. Tonight, 6:00, you've got Clemson at Arizona, 6-2. You've got San Diego State against UConn. UConn looking unbeatable, and there I jinxed them. Tonight, we got Bama against North Carolina, and we've got Illinois against Iowa State.
Who's playing? They're playing on Friday. Houston is playing Duke.
Right. In the Sweet 16, all 1 seeds are available, are still there. All 2 seeds are still there, and 2 of the 3 seeds are still there.
NC State's still there.
Yeah, that is not a Cinderella. You can't be part of the ACC and be a Cinderella. Taking on number 2 Marquette, Gonzaga against Purdue, Duke versus Houston, and Creighton against my team, the Tennessee Volunteers. That Tennessee team is good, dude.
We're gonna see, Mike.
Good team.
I smell upset.
So, Major League Baseball opening day is today.
Go Red Sox.
What I would say is that I was trying to think of a Otani.
You're gonna be a Rangers fan, or you know how they were saying we're a bandwagon last year because we're rooting for the Rangers to win the World Series.
Yeah, I grew up a Rangers fan, but I kind of jumped off the bandwagon after they were 1 strike away from winning the World Series. But at 3:00 today, you have the Yankees at Minute Maid as they start the season there for the Houston Astros.
Break out the trash cans, brother.
Valdez on the mound, and the Texas Rangers, those defending champion Texas Rangers, take on the Cubs over in Arlington. Not bad. That's as much baseball as I want to get into between now and September.
Oh man, come on,
dude. It doesn't matter.
It's baseball. I like watching baseball.
If there's a regular season that doesn't matter, it's baseball.
No, man.
Because you can go. I remember growing up, late 90s, early 2000s, you had the Mariners go off for like 119 wins.
Ken Griffey.
And then get their ass handed to them in the first round of the playoffs.
No.
It's like, okay, they lost a 3-game series. They played 162 games for these 3 days to matter. It's kind of like the NCAA tournament.
I still remember the Twins beating the fucking Atlanta, dude. Atlanta Braves. Fucking Kirby Puckett.
Dude.
Fuck him, dude. Rest in peace, Kirby, but damn it, man.
Kirby Puckett was so good.
Brother, the brother had to hit the ball out of the park because there's no way he was going to make it to first base.
Yeah, he was a little thick.
He was a little thick, bro.
And it was before Chuck Knobloch lost his mind.
Yeah.
Remember when Chuck Knobloch couldn't throw the ball from second to first?
Oh, God.
Whatever happened to that dude, man? That's like a movie scene, where, you just can't, like, he got the yips, like Tin Cup. That was crazy. But I'll probably go to 2 or 3 MLB games this year, just simply because I kind of want to. The year of travel is upon me because, like I said, I'm going through divorce, and right now I'm just like, I just want to travel. Went to Vegas last week. Gonna go to New Orleans in April to go see my daughter. I have a business trip for work, going to Charlotte, so I'll have to do a show in Charlotte while I'm there. And after that, I'm still contemplating that concert there in Vegas.
What's it called? The Lovers and Friends?
The Lovers and Friends.
VIP, baby. That's the way to go. You walk across the catwalk, you see your bands real quick.
Oh, my goodness.
You don't want to go and take a piss with the fucking peasants, dude. Come on, man. You're going to be in a line with the freaking...
You know me, dude.
I know you, man. You
know
ain't going to wait in line to go to the porta potty.
You know what the problem was? My daughter, we took her to go see Panic at the Disco out in Dallas, and I rented a box.
See,
okay. And after that, I can't slum it in the cheap seats anymore, man. I took my dad to the Rockets game against the Spurs last month.
What's wrong with the cheap
5th
seats?
row, dude? I mean, I think I'm gonna go ahead and retire from the cheap seats.
Oh, for what?
For all things. Like, if I'm not in the lower bowl, I gotta be below the banners. Okay,
below the banners. You know what? We got spoiled, man. I don't want to go to another Spurs game unless we got that fucking wristband to go to that damn club at the bottom.
You were like, okay, they're like, okay, it's free beer, right? And
Say what?
And they were open. They were open another hour after the game, right?
Oh man, they
And-
shut
and-
that place down.
And I know, and you're looking at your watch, and you're like asking for more beer, and they're shutting down, and you're like, it hasn't been an hour. Like, you were gonna get your hour's worth.
I'm gonna
over
get my
there.
hours worth of fucking free beer. Sam, you would get your hours worth of free beer.
I paid for it.
A free beer.
Yeah, if I paid to get into the.
Oh, I didn't pay for shit. I was gifted the tickets.
Are we gonna bring
I'm
him
gonna
in?
get my goddamn hour free
Since
beer.
since we know he's here, we're gonna bring him in.
It's up to him.
You want to jump on?
Sure.
We were gonna say
Just go
bye,
ahead and
but
sit
last
down.
last 5 minutes. What's come around?
All right, your mic is hot.
This thing actually.
You just turn it around.
Oh, this is good.
Yeah,
All right, do we have this? Ooh.
It's better. It's better if I'm just a disembodied voice.
yeah.
All right, we
Yeah,
got,
it's
okay.
we got to get him on camera. Where we at?
I can't get him on right now because it's all tiered up to you, brother.
All right, well then you're gonna have to come over here and hold my hand.
Oh, is that what you need? No, we're good.
He's good, dude.
So we got Puma here today, man. What's going on with you, man? How have you been?
Oh, doing well, man. Here, yeah, jiggle that cord there so I can hear. Hey,
There you
we
go.
go.
There you go.
Let's see if I can get this without having to. There we go.
How about this? I'll meet you in the middle.
Oh,
All
you're
right.
doing way too much work to make it happen. Here, I'll slide over to prove. There you go.
There you go. There you go. He's
All
there.
right, Puma's in the house. What you been working on these days, man?
Man, nothing as professional as what y'all have going on here. This is quite the studio.
You know, we've done this sober 80% of the time.
80%. That's
We got a
solid
whole
number.
fridge of beer right there, dude. You don't want to open that son bitch.
No,
Yeah,
I had plenty of gin martinis last night.
Woo.
We had some prosecco here a while back.
We had some prosecco. We have tequila. I still have some Don Julio from my party, Blanco.
Yeah,
We have a shit ton of whiskey, dude. We went through the bottle of Buffalo Trace already.
we don't always do the show drunk, but sometimes.
How
Once a
you
month,
do
we're
the
drunk.
show at 10 a.m. How is
Hey, we do some day drinking sometimes on this show. It
well,
goes
it
off
is
the
again.
rails.
It is opening day.
You-
I
you-
mean,
It
it's
is.
an official day drinking holiday.
I mean, come on. It doesn't have to only be a golf course that you drink at 8 in the morning, okay?
That's fair. No, that's very fair.
No, I mean, I came back from Vegas. I mean, you're drinking it all
Well,
time.
Vegas, there's no time in Vegas. Like
True.
it's never morning, it's never afternoon, it's never night. It's just always Vegas.
It's just pumped in oxygen
Correct.
24/7.
no, there's never a bad time to do anything.
Can I tell you about a
Like
weird
if it's
thing?
9 a.m., it's a good time to drink.
a
Tall
weird-
tale tie?
Well, it's not a tall tale, but it's a weird thing. Is that like my friends? We go to Vegas, and it used to be we'd party till like 4 in the morning, and then we'd wake up the next day at noon. Now we party till like midnight,
Call it a day.
And wake up
and
at
wake up and we go
7, 8.
and we go for a walk.
Oh,
You know,
Lord.
we walk to
Gosh,
we
man.
go to the Mob Museum, the Neon Light Museum, the Pawn Stars shop.
No, you actually sightsee.
Yeah,
I bet you go to shows too.
You went to the
You
Sphere.
definitely go to
I
shows.
went to the Sphere show because I had to go to the Sphere.
Okay, well that's different to
Yeah.
see the Sphere. Like I mean I can't stand U2, but I would pay to go see it
Dude,
because I
yeah.
want to see him. I
You
want to see it in the venue.
U2's ticket prices are fucking ridiculous, dude.
Hey, good for them.
I'm like,
Yeah.
damn.
Keep chasing that paper,
It-
Playboy.
it's a great thing. But here's the thing: you got every once in a while you got to show your face. You got to do one of these.
No,
so that-
just to prove.
yeah.
I like the disembodied voice. He's the voice from on Up High.
Do you remember when man, the whole reason I say that is back when Around the Horn first started, and it
Yeah.
was Max Kellerman was the host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would always reference the disembodied voice because the announcer wasn't on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Kellerman would be like, "Thank you, disembodied voice," or until next time, I'm Max Kellerman along with the disembodied voice of Around the Horn.
I forgot that Max Kellerman was the original Around the Horn. I thought-
Kellerman,
Oh, yeah.
Kellerman is another one of those talents that ESPN completely wasted.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
couldn't figure out like throwing him with his wit and intelligence
It's
next
too
to
smart.
Steven. It's too smart. It's too smart for any. That's why he's good at boxing.
Kellerman was a big boxing guy, dude.
Huge.
He could talk boxing all day.
And he can just nerd out over it and get
Yeah.
so deep in the weeds of it. Boxing. Boxing fans want that shit.
Yeah.
Like football fans don't want to hear. Like, how much shit does Dan Orlovsky get anytime he tries to break something down? Like, no, that's not what I want. I want Stephen A. Smith screaming at me, telling me why the Cowboys suck and why Jerry Jones should finally give up power.
Yeah, Max.
Man, did y'all talk about that this week?
Yeah, we did, man.
The scribbling on the notepad.
Jerry. Yeah, those were the plans when we're all in.
Oh,
Those were the plans. The scribble.
That's why honest shit like that is why I haven't even done a show in 2 months. It's
a shit show.
It's what do you talk about? Do you make fun of Jerry again for the 10,000th time?
No,
no, it's not. It's not.
No, we made fun of Skip because that comma was doing the Lord's work.
Okay. Well,
all in,
and
comma up my
not
ass.
to be outdone. Less than 24 hours later, Alex Jones tweets out, "I will eat any leftist ass." It's like, what are we doing?
Where's the comma, brother?
Yeah, what are we doing? It felt like Alex Jones saw Skip and was like, "Oh, brother, I got something for that. I can play this game."
My goodness, man.
God.
Welcome to the show, man. We do the show. We do about an hour 15, hour and a half. Although
y'all are going late today, then
we kind of started a little late.
Yeah, because we had construction in the front. We were talking about early in the show. The guys driving the
tractor, you said, yeah,
they could make so much money because they can sucker people like me to pay $100 just to play with it for 15 minutes.
Yeah,
go up and down the street.
They have adult theme parks where you can just go play with heavy machinery.
That is awesome.
Yeah. There's man, I want to say it's like Kentucky or Tennessee somewhere. They have you go out there and you can just fuck around on a bulldozer. You go doze shit for an hour. Yeah.
That is badass.
Yeah.
It's kind of like those.
It's like a redneck theme park. It's shit that I grew up. My grandpa drove a dozer.
Bobcat, dude, the little front end loader.
Yeah, you got a little Bobcat. Shit, I think one of them actually has a fucking tank you can play around.
Oh, now we're talking.
I've seen some of those where you can fire tanks.
Yeah.
Or you can try to shoot watermelon from I don't know, a million miles.
You ever been in
away.
a tank, an actual tank?
Never have.
Never moving.
Man, well, when I worked at Kelly and we moved around all this equipment, we had a lot of toys to play with, dude. And we got in one of those son of bitches. I'll tell you what, I don't know how they drive them, dude.
Did you point the thing left?
Oh yeah, yeah. We did the whole bit, dude. We're in the warehouse one time and we got a shipment of the night vision goggles.
Yeah.
And we had our first shirt, our first sergeant come out and he goes, "We got some new toys, boys. Let's turn off the lights."
No, I want to do stuff like that. I want to do some fun stuff. I went to in Vegas one time a gun range that had a virtual battlefield where it was indoors, and what they did is they put this these sensors on you, and if you got hit, they would shock you where you got hit.
Oh, nice, dude.
And it would shock the living shit out of you.
I bet.
And that was awful.
It was
fun.
You could shock your boys for free at Matamoto's going across the border.
And they had a big old box of rocks, and they were selling them for $5 each, and they labeled them California bullets. I thought that was funny.
Jeez. File that under the if you have money, there's always some way for you to spend it. You want to go play, you want to go get shocked, you want to go pay a bunch of money to end up getting shocked the shit out of.
Because if I shot you right there, your shoulder would go zzz, it would vibrate because you had sensors all over you, and you had hollowed out real guns that had these sensors. It was basically like going to main event.
That's exactly what it is.
Laser tag.
Yeah. You're doing laser tag, but you get, instead of going it would jolt you.
That's wild.
Yeah, it feels
and before you get going, they line you up against the wall and say, "We got to make sure these things work." And they
so you get to test. You get a little charge to test it.
Yeah, nice.
Which is not true, man. I'm sure it all worked.
Yeah, I was about to say it feels like some sadomasochist is making a killing off of that, just shocking the shit out of people.
And this is half mile outside the strip in Vegas. I mean, it is right there, near the strip.
Hey, you didn't get on that zip line they have over in Vegas.
No, I gotta lose about 10 more pounds first.
Yeah, dude. Takes you through the strip, bro.
And it's so funny because you could do that zip line thing where you're either laying flat like this, or you could do it where you're hanging on.
No, I'm laying flat, dude. Fuck that.
Well, I know, but it's
like the sky coaster.
Yeah.
I can imagine. We talk about toxic masculinity, how we shouldn't judge other men. I will judge you, however, if you're doing the zip line holding on like this.
Oh Lord,
that man. I will judge.
Doing the Mary Poppins.
Okay, so
So we're getting up. We're gaining more followers by the day. We restarted the podcast in January, and we're getting about 4 or 5 new followers a day. We're going to probably be at around 1,000. I'm thinking by the summer. We're at
Probably sooner, dude. We've been
763.
getting a lot.
We'll probably be at about 1,000. I would say, yeah, you're probably right. Probably by about end of May. But that being said, I proposed this idea to Joe of doing a 24-hour long podcast.
Okay, time out. Are you serious?
No, we did this on the show. We talked about this on the show a couple weeks ago.
I'm throwing around the idea of doing a 24-hour Twitch stream of just like playing video games, talking like just randomly, every now and then, like
Just you being you.
Yeah. To have some people, like I was thinking about, having different people over at different times.
Yeah,
make
a
it
guest
through.
per hour.
Exactly. Yeah.
Run some franchise mode on 2K with a dude for like 6 hours of the 24.
That's what we're talking
overnight.
about.
It's a good bit.
Yeah.
And
the 24-hour stream is a good bit.
And we could and people think to themselves like,
shit. Now I got to get mine done before y'all do it. Now that I
well, people are like, how can you do this? Like what? How do you talk for 24 hours? It's like, dude, that's just what I do.
You talk for 24. I mean, except when you're sleeping. Like, you're talking no matter what you're doing, whether you're ordering fast food or talking to your significant other. Like, you're always talking.
Yeah, I gotta know the rules to this. Like, like, do I have to can I go to the restroom? Do I have to pee here?
Of course, you go to the bathroom, bro. Come on.
You could get a catheter like Wendy Davis when she grandstanded when she did her filibuster.
Yeah,
she had the catheter. Yeah, so she wouldn't have to leave. No, I think she just had diapers on. She had diapers.
Damn.
I can do.
Yeah, because she can't have a catheter.
Bro, you can be sitting in a moist diaper.
Am I gonna wear a diaper? Depends.
You can get the swamp ass, man.
I like how that's the biggest concern. Like,
I'm just like, bro,
you're gonna wear a diaper, bro. You're gonna get swamp.
You
ass.
get
Like,
swamp ass.
That's your concern.
That shit's gonna stink, especially if I gotta be in here with you for 24 hours. You can get a little ripe, Mike.
I get a little ripe. We only hang out at a couple hours.
No, for 24 hours wearing a diaper.
Yeah,
I'm like, bro, it's gonna get a little ripe in here.
And my question is, do I wear a long sleeve? Am I gonna wear a tie? Because that's kind of how I feel comfortable.
A tie?
A tie?
I love wearing ties.
No, you just got to come in the t-shirt, man.
Why would you wear it?
Might as well wear pajamas.
It'll be one of those things where slowly every hour I think an article will close off.
Well, then you should come wear like Troy and Abed, like as many shirts as you can.
Oh, that bit from back in the day. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Wear 24
Troy
shirts
in the morning.
Wear 24 shirts.
Take one off.
Take one off each hour, and then by the end, you'll be showing the people what they want.
Dude, I had a Troy and Abed moment, which, by the way, Community is one of my favorite shows of all time.
6 seasons and a movie.
That's right. We haven't had the movie yet, but apparently it's in the works.
Yeah. Apparently the script is Harmon's been talking about it lately too.
Nice.
So there's actually work being done.
No Chevy Chase though, probably not.
No.
Probably not. You might. I would assume you might get some hologram Chevy that, like you did. What was that, season 5 when they came back, when Dan Harmon came back?
Yeah. How are they gonna do Troy? Because Troy died.
He died.
Yeah, Troy dies in the show.
He didn't die.
Childish Gambino, Donald Glover's character.
He's lost at sea.
Yeah, but they insinuated that he died.
They insinuate, but there's no concrete. It's not like they have to rewrite, like the funeral episode.
What is it, Captain Phillips? Or not Captain Phillips? What's the one from? I'm thinking of the wrong one. The Tom Hanks character.
Yeah, I was about to say you're thinking of another terrible Tom Hanks movie.
Castaway.
Yeah.
So the Troy and Abed, I went to the Rue Pub a few months ago with James Pledger from San Antonio Sports Star, and he and I were just sitting there doing a radio show at the bar that didn't exist. We sat there and did a show together for like half an hour, and it was great content. And we were talking to each other like we were on the radio. It was the funniest thing that we had done in a while. And we were probably 4 drinks in, and I'm wondering the people who are watching us thinking to themselves, what are they doing? We were deep teasing conversation pieces.
Oh,
don't you feel? God. I have a there's a psychological effect that would describe this, but like it's like Chappelle talked about in his most recent special. Like you're living in other people's dreams. Like,
Yeah.
like you're thinking, like so many people, like you're sitting there thinking, like, I wonder what those other people thought. Nothing, like absolutely nothing. They just saw two dudes being dudes at the bar. Thought, hell yeah, like those.
You know what we should have done though? We should have done it where it was some sort of stream. You know, I
True
don't think
enough.
we had Twitter Spaces back then.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe they did exist. I just wasn't doing them at the time. I should have done a Twitter Space with Pledger, where we're just at the bar bullshitting about the NFL playoffs. But whatever it was, it was fun. It was fun.
Good
Well,
times.
fellas, I got to get going. This has been fun. We did an hour 35 today,
On my birthday too. So
and
Hey, happy birthday!
the super chat crossed the $200 marker.
woohoo. Thanks, Drew Show.
The Drew Show with a big $45
Midtown
tip today.
Midtown also helped as well, dude.
Very nice. And again, our goal was to be at 750.
Y'all got
subscribers.
$200 in super chat today.
Oh no, we got like 70.
Yeah, over what, the last couple of weeks,
Oh,
maybe?
okay.
We got 70 today.
I was about to
Yeah.
say, y'all are pushing weight here. Shit.
So yeah, about 70 today, you know. And our goal was to be at 750 subscribers by the end of this month, and we're at 762. So we've kind of surpassed all that. So we are gaining some traction. But fellas, this has been great. Tomorrow's Good Friday. Joe will announce on Twitter whether or not we're going to have a show tomorrow.
We're gonna do a show tomorrow. I'm gonna do a show tomorrow. I don't know if you'll be here or not.
Okay.
I'm gonna have my boy Fernandez on because we're gonna go ahead and talk boxing. We're gonna go ahead and probably talk Spurs and whatever the hell else we want to talk about.
Update the betting
Bam's got a
brackets.
big fight coming up.
Exactly, man. And they have a big boxing match at the Tech Port this Saturday.
That's
Be
right.
there.
That's right. By the way, our missions
Credentials.
will be approved. So I need to talk to you about that offline, but let's make things happen. And we might have a special guest next week.
Oh,
Super excited about
I
it.
know. Got to keep it on the DL.
Super excited about it. He is San Antonio royalty when it comes to sports next week.
Yeah, man. Good stuff.
Very nice. Very nice.
All right.
That's Joe Garcia. I'm Mike Jimenez. Hey, that's Puma. See you guys tomorrow.
Later.